Oh
Nice.
yeah, it's 100% a nice place. Like just in
Um,
terms of Call of Duty, America seems better.
well, in terms of Call of Duty, yeah, there's such a huge fan base in North America. I mean, Australia, it's growing, I think.
Oh,
I mean,
100%. I reckon we're probably like, especially now the fact that in Australia we've got the 18 plus age restrictions.
yeah,
Everyone was expecting it to limit our numbers, but all it's done is create a more mature scene, and I think the numbers are actually starting to increase again after that drop. So it's good to see that, and this new game is so good. I can't see how it's not going to grow.
yeah. I mean, definitely since the last 2 years, Ghost was just. I don't think any Call of Duty esports scene can possibly grow that large on Ghost. And Advanced Warfare was decent, but yeah, the Black Ops 3 is
It
definitely
was,
better.
it was alright. I think Advanced Warfare was actually quite enjoyable to watch. It wasn't fun to play.
It was so fast paced. I mean, to watch it, I mean, I think sometimes you kind of have to know how to play the game, especially Call of
Yeah.
Duty, in order to be able to watch it, because otherwise you don't really know what's happening sometimes.
That's what they're doing so well about the CWL, though. I'm not 100% sure, but to me, it looks like the casters are being told to explain the game more so the people that are coming in to watching it from the first time on Twitch, they can understand it in a more basic level. Because I've been watching with like teammates and that sort of thing, and they're like, why did they bother just explaining that? It's so basic. But if we're trying to grow the sim, we need to be explaining that stuff to the newer people that are coming in to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea because there's a lot of new people I think that have been dropping by.
Oh yeah, the amount of people I've seen PC Master Race in the
Uh,
chat.
well, those are just trolls.
Yeah, there's plenty of them, unfortunately, but
It's hard to watch that chat. It's just kids going back and forth saying CS:GO is better than COD or COD's better than
yeah,
CS:GO.
but you got 50 people in the chat doing that, and then you got another 7,000 people watching and actually enjoying the stream. So
Yeah,
I
or if
just I
someone's
just I
enjoying
just
it.
close the chat.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Well, what I was doing
So,
in the chat was I was going through and trying to answer questions because there are some like legitimate people in there, that have never watched
yeah.
competitive Call of Duty before, and they're like asking questions like, I don't know, for example, they're playing Uplink and they're like, what's the objective of this game? And the casters can't just describe it for what single person in the chat. So
Yeah.
I was trying to be a good guy going in there because otherwise it's just a bunch of trolls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is a lot of trolls, but even like you get CS:GO and League of Legends even get that as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much
How many
just
times do you see the word
everywhere,
vac? How many times do you see the word vac in a CS chat?
yeah, they just spam that all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So
one thing that you mentioned was the 18 plus rule, and now that was actually announced in Australia before it was announced anywhere else, because
yeah,
it was announced before Black Ops 3 came out. I think because they knew that the age rating of the game.
yeah.
So the Australian, like the organizers, I guess they decided it was going to be 18 plus. I don't know who all's decision that
Have you
was.
ever had
Or
Have you ever had any sort of age restrictions besides Call of Duty champs? Have you had any age restrictions in terms of your competitions or?
in the past, not that I can think of.
Okay, because like last year we sort of started Oceanic region started bringing in a 15 plus rule.
Okay.
So there was a few 14-year-olds that were mad at that. And then at the end of the year, they brought in the 18 plus. So they might have known early, so they were trying to like squeeze it in slowly, I imagine. But it's only done a world of improvement. Like the maturity and the professionalism is starting to get up there in terms of like Riot Games and DreamHack, those sort of competitions. Teams are starting to respect each other a lot more. I feel like teams are starting to stay together a lot more to want to grind together as well.
Yeah. Well, now there's that opportunity to earn a whole bunch of money from the CWL.
100%. Even for Australia and UK, like Europe, I should say, there is like a lot of money now. More money than it's ever been in the Oceanic scene. That's 100% certain.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's pretty much scaled. So the number of teams are different. So the payout though is scaled so that it could be the same. Do you know what I mean? So like the
Yeah.
first place team in the league would earn pretty much the same in all three leagues.
Yeah, exactly. Like Mind Freak, I honestly think deserve it. They placed sixth at Call of Duty Championships.
Yeah.
And personally, me, an Oceanic player that's seen them play for years, them getting 6 at COD champs wasn't that great, to be honest. And they admitted they didn't play well at Call of Duty champs.
Yeah.
They think they should have placed a lot higher, and most of the Oceanic region think so as well.
So maybe this year they could have a chance to.
After watching them in the league, they're very bloody dominant.
Dominant,
yeah, and their teamwork is just on point. Their chemistry, so.
And so it's kind of surprising that they placed so high in the past. I guess the two past years, those guys, they placed high at champs. So is it the same group of players, or?
Yeah. So it's Dens, Buzzo, Shocks, and Fighter. So they've had that roster all the way throughout AW. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Ghosts, Dens was in that XL5 team with Iskatu and Jillian. There's one other. I can't remember who the other player was.
Tates?
That's just
was
like.
Fate, was it? I don't know. I'm just.
No. Damage.
Okay.
Damage is the one. Yeah.
All right. So. Okay. So they've had success in the past for sure, and it is definitely surprising to have a team from Australia come over. It's because you don't see them all year long, right?
Yeah.
You don't see across North American, Australian teams, or even European teams playing, except for Call of Duty Championship. That's pretty much it. And this year it's pretty much the same thing too.
Yeah, I think hopefully they can start trying to cross that gap between the regions, because they've started to do it in CSGO. There's a lot of times that the North Americans go over and versus the Europeans now. And even there's an Australian team that was living over in North America, Renegades. They were competing with North American teams, keeping up with them. Mm-hmm. So hopefully Mindfreak can possibly do that in the future.
Okay.
Be good to see.
Carrie's actually in the chat, and he said it wasn't XL5, it was Trident 2T1.
Sorry, yeah, Trident T1 Daughters at the time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
Bad.
It's been almost 2 years ago though now. It's kind of
yeah.
I forgot about that. But
it's quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So, would you say that, having this Call of Duty World League, it's kind of the most organized league that you guys have had in Australia?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So there's a lot more, consistent competition, and it's pretty much, the top teams are constantly playing for something meaningful.
Yes. Yep.
So, I guess in that case, you wouldn't be surprised if someone places high again, like Mindfreak did last year.
Yeah, I feel like Mindfreak are almost at that point now, though, that they're not versing anybody better than them. So for them to try and to improve might be a little bit harder than what it is for the NA teams.
Yeah.
But that's no excuse at all. There's no reason they can't be watching VODs and watching how the Americans are setting up and try copy that and try beating the Australian teams by even more than what they already are. But it eventually gets to the point where it's 250 to 20. You can't really get much better than that, really.
So how do you explain them when they lost on land to, I guess there was Skyfire at the time, the Chiefs now? I was watching that live too, actually. We had to
look. Chiefs played well on the day. They did deserve it, but my Mindfreak, I don't know whether they were under practice or they just weren't ready on the day, or their mindset wasn't there, or what. Mindfreak's still a 10 times better team, in my opinion. I just think they had a bad day and didn't have enough prep, really.
Yeah, it's actually surprising to me since then. I don't know if you've seen our power rankings that we have on eSports Guru. I did all the regions, and I did a preseason and then a week one, and I got to finish updating the week 2 ones. I did the NA week 2 power rankings, but before the preseason I had Chiefs number 1, and I think they haven't had a great start so far, so I dropped them down. But there's kind of besides Mindfreak being dominant, it seems like there's all the other teams are kind of very closely matched. Anybody could beat anybody, it seems.
At the moment, it seems like there's Mindfreak and Orbit at the top, it seems like, and possibly Tainted Minds. It'd be good to see what happens with those 3 teams. And then there's the rest of the field that's pretty close, except for, in my opinion, XL5. They seem to be the weak link within the league. And a lot of people seem to agree with that. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter about that.
Yeah.
But they made it, so they deserve the spot. I just want to see the Exile 5 take their spot with more determination than what they have. I haven't seen them scrimming at all.
Oh yeah.
So, which is a shame when you got such a big opportunity. Even if you're not getting high placings, like you're still in a league with top teams to improve. You got to take your advantages out of that.
Well, from what I understand, like they qualified kind of like a last minute team. So
yeah, they were a pickup team. So
like a lot of the players, I mean, I don't know, yourself and other competitive players. It's kind of you play pretty often. You have a schedule maybe, and
yeah.
A lot of these other guys they've been on that grind previously. But it seems like XL5, since they were a pickup team, they might not have had that kind of grind previously. So it's kind of hard to just like switch up your whole lifestyle. Like I could understand why they might not have as many scrims as other teams.
See, there's like Glowdeck. Is he Braxton? Braxton or Glowdeck? That's what he calls himself. And H220K Hunter. They've both been players that have grinded a lot in the past.
Yeah.
So Squizzy's grinded a fair bit. I can't remember who's there for. Tupac, he's also grinded. It's just as a team they haven't played, and if it was me getting that opportunity to be in such a big tournament or a big league, I'd be wanting to grind with that new team, even though it's in your mind you might think it's not the best team I could have, but it's the team you got, and you're in that position. Why not give it your best crack?
That's true. So what about you? Do you have a team? Like a full roster?
Yeah, at the moment, it is me, Julo, Linksamal, and Zeus. Not Zeus that is in immunity. There's another Zeus in the Ellis COD scene. I think it's actually 3 of them, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which gets confusing. Yeah, we feel pretty confident. We've still got to work on a few nicks here and there, but yeah, we're feeling confident. We think we can easily make Season 2. So
that's what I was going to ask, because I'm not actually sure how many teams are going to be relegated. Is it 2 or 3? Or
I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's in North America. There's 12 teams total. I think 4 of them get relegated.
Okay.
But I'm not sure what it is because Australia has 8 teams.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that one. I think it should be the bottom 4 should have to refight for their spot. I'm not like they should obviously get high seeds, obviously, but
yeah.
I think they should have to refight for their spot. Top 4, obviously, keep them there. Like, it's obvious that they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, like you guys, your team was going to try to do that.
100%. We're going to be. Yeah. We're definitely going for that relegation tournament. Yeah, we like our chances. We definitely like our chances. Carrie just said 4 teams in Australia get relegated.
It would make sense for it to be that way everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't see why the bottom 4 teams shouldn't have to refight for their spot.
So, I have so many questions, I guess, just because I'm not as familiar with the Australian scene.
Go ahead, fire away.
I try to,
Yep.
So
if I get something wrong, Carrie's going to correct me anyway.
So when you are, you're playing, you're not in the league. What do you guys have to stay fresh? Like, how do you play? Do you just scrim? Do you have other tournaments that you enter, or?
Yeah, so we got the likes of Does Play and Cybergamer. You got the open ladders on Cybergamer. I don't know what you would compare them to in America. Probably Game Battle ladders or something like that. Yeah. We've got like our 5v5 S&D, which is where Australia actually started, and that was like the baby of OzCOD.
Oh, yeah.
There's still that, not as many teams, but it's still a thing. There's still the 4v4 variant. You got Does Play tournaments like every 3 hours or something, starting at like 9 a.m. I don't know how kids are up at 9 a.m. playing Call of Duty, but we've still got ESL running tournaments. Obviously, I think they're hosting the CWL for us. But there was talks about Does Play were hosting a 10K to LAN in Feb, and I have a feeling that may have been pushed back to March now. But there is definitely a tournament coming up. I think Cybergamer just announced their pro league, so I think there's going to be a LAN finals for that as well. So there's definitely still stuff to strive for. Teams just seem to be preoccupied a lot by CWO at the moment, and that's like our main priority.
Okay.
You can't go past the big prize pools.
Yeah, that's true. But your camera was just turning green, by the way. It's fixed now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny looking. So,
That's bizarre.
so you do have a
Don't
lot of
make-
options.
Yeah, we have 100% have heaps of options. Everybody's screaming like I was screaming up until probably about 3 a.m. last night. I don't normally scream that late, but there's team screaming from 4 till about that time. Oh, I just saw myself go green. That was scary.
Yeah, that was weird looking, right?
Very bizarre.
I don't know. It's your camera, I guess.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, just let me know when you gotta go anyway. But I have another question. So you said, yeah, so you don't have any like lands on the schedule yet at the moment that are like officially announced?
CG has announced a LAN. I'm not 100% sure if they've actually announced the date yet, though. But it's still online qualifiers, so people aren't actually worried about organizing stuff yet. But you still got to make it.
Yeah.
Really.
So you know, like the Challenger division or the Challenge division, I guess it's called, like the 7-0 and the Call of Duty World League. So worldwide, the only thing we really know about it is that we have UMG South Carolina, which is coming up in about, I think, 2 weeks in North America. And so that's like the first Challenge Division event. And so UMG events in the past, they started up like, I don't know, two and a half years ago, UMG. All of their past events, like last year, had $50,000 prize pools. Now it's actually raised up to a $100,000 prize pool. So they doubled that. And the thing about that, the Challenge Division event, is that the Pro Division teams are still able to go to it. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
You know, having a Challenge Division event where pro teams are still able to go and participate and take away that prize pool, it just kind of feels weird to me.
Have they announced that those Pro Division teams are able to actually win prize money yet, or not?
The prize money, I'm not 100% certain about that. There has been very little information released.
Because like I'm okay with it if there is pros there and competing, because that's good for the challengers to try verse them and try beat them. But if you got a challenger series, and the whole point of a challenger series is to give the players outside of that top 8 just something to strive for. I don't see the point in giving the pro players prize money. They don't need it, especially not in NA. Like the top 8 teams, it's their full-time job. They don't need to worry about it, I don't think.
Yeah, a lot of them have salaries now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I
heard some crazy numbers about salaries.
Yeah. Have you heard the numbers? What they had for like Team Envious?
I've heard something that was like 2K a week or something for phase, or 2K a month.
Oh, I have no idea for phase.
But that's a lot. That's even like on top of all the money they're obviously making from streaming, obviously tournaments. That's a lot of money. So I think without the Challenger series, they're pretty comfortable. So if it is the case that they can obviously still win money, pro teams can win money, but points won't count towards the league.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think
it's pretty much guaranteed that the pro teams are going to take all the money.
They're the pro teams.
Yeah. I'm not even sure. I mean, there's $100,000, so I would assume the top 8 are probably going to get paid out. And there's 12 pro teams in North America, so, I mean, who that's not in the pro league is going to take it? No.
It's not really a Challenger series. It's a Challenger tournament. It's more of just another UMG tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And so he says there's points. So I guess you can earn points. And this is like the first event for it. What I did hear, there was a Charlie Intel article that came out, and I'm not really sure who their sources were. I guess they probably have like, I don't know, sources that work for Activision or ESL or something.
Yep.
But they said that there's going to be like a LAN and online events.
For the Challenger?
For the Challenge Division, yeah. And I would assume, that would be worldwide. So,
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Hopefully, then I wonder if the pro teams will be able to play with Challenger online as well.
no, I hope not. That can't be. That can't happen. No way.
Yeah, I
No
hope not.
way.
Anyway, I got to head off, mate. I got a tournament to play. So
Okay.
thank